Alright, this is Quiz 10 Study Guide. Here we go. Number 1 asks you to name the theorem or postulate that lets you immediately conclude that triangle ABD is congruent to triangle CBD. And what you have here in this diagram is this 90-degree angle in the middle of these two triangles means that both of these angles are 90. You've also got side BD that's in both triangles. So it's what's called congruent to itself. So in the triangle up top, you've got an angle, and a side, and on the bottom you've got an angle, and a side. So the triangles are congruent by angle, side. Number 2, can you use side, angle, side, or both to prove the triangle is congruent? Again, you've got a side in each triangle congruent, you've got an angle in each side that's congruent, and what's not shown are these two vertical angles in the middle. And this angle is congruent to this angle. So what you've got in the triangle on the left is an angle, and a side congruent to an angle, and a side. So this is going to be angle, side only. Number 3, RS and T are vertices of one triangle. EF and D are the vertices of another triangle. The measure of R is 60 degrees. The measure of S is 90 degrees. The measure of angle F is 60. And the measure of angle D is 30. R to S is 4, and E to F is 4. Are the triangles congruent? If yes, explain and tell which segment is congruent to RT. So in this first triangle RST, if you've got a 90 and a 60 degree angle and you subtract those from 180, the third angle is 30 degrees. In the triangle on the right, if you subtract 30 and 60 from 180, you're left with 90 degrees. So what you've got here is an angle, a side, and an angle congruent to an angle, a side, and an angle. So yes, the triangles are congruent. So we can get rid of option D. Now, the triangles are congruent by angle, side, angle. So we can get rid of C. And angle, side, angle, there's only answer A left. Number 4 asks which pair of triangles is congruent by angle, side, angle. I'm going to start down here with answer choice D. Answer choice D, you're given a side, an angle, and a side, congruent to a side, an angle, and a side. So these are SAS. In answer B, you've got an angle, and a side, and then you've got an angle, a side, and an angle. So those two aren't congruent by anything. Answer C, side, angle, and a side, congruent to side, angle, and a side. That's another case of side, angle, side. That won't work. And in answer choice A, you have angle, side, and an angle, congruent to angle, side, and an angle. So answer A is your only correct choice. Alright, number 5 says, based on the given information, what can you conclude and why? Angle E is congruent to angle I. So angle E is congruent to angle I. EG is congruent to GI. That's this side right here and this side here. And then these angles, this little bow tie, these two angles are vertical of each other. They're vertical angles. So you've got two triangles that are congruent by angle, side angle. And you've got answer choice A and B that deal with angle, side angle. So C is not an option and D is not an option. Now we have to look at the congruent statements. Answer choice A is triangle EFG. So EFG congruent to, if E is the first letter in the description, then I has to be the first letter in the second description. And in this case, in answer choice A, that's not the case. So B is your only correct choice. Alright, short answer. This comes right off yesterday's worksheet. Use the information in the diagram to determine the measure of the angle formed by the line from the point on the ground to the top of the building. That is this line right here. Here's your point on the ground. Here's your top of the building. You're looking for this angle right in here. The tree in this case represents a mid-segment, and it is parallel to the side of the building. So if you extend this mid-segment and extend the side of the building, and then take this line that goes from the point on the ground and extend it, you've got a transversal that intersects two parallel lines, which makes this 22-degree angle congruent to this angle that they're asking for. So this angle right in here would be 22 degrees. Which two triangles are congruent by angle, side, angle? GL bisects KI. G to L bisects K to I. If the segments bisect each other, then G to J is congruent to J to L, and K to J is congruent to J to I. Again, these vertical angles in here around point J, this angle is congruent to this angle. You're also told in your description that angle GKJ is congruent to LIJ. So LIJ. Now, which two triangles are congruent by angle, side, angle? The left triangle is congruent to the right triangle by angle, side, angle, angle, side, angle. So you have to write your description. And we've got triangle. On the left, again, you can order the vertices any way you like. I'm going to call it GKJ is congruent to triangle. If I use the G as my first letter, then I've got to use the L as my first letter. If the K is my second vertex, then the I has to be my second vertex. And there's only one vertex left, and that's J. Number 3 asks, which triangles are congruent by angle, side, angle? Well, in angle, side, angle, you're going to need two congruent angles. That wipes this triangle out. Here's an angle, a side, and an angle, congruent to an angle, a side, and an angle. So which triangles are congruent? Again, you're going to write a congruent statement. We're going to call this triangle on the left triangle. HGF is congruent to. If the H went first on the left, then the A has to go first in the triangle on the right. G is the second vertex in the description, and it has two arc marks, so B is the second vertex in this description on the right. The only letter left on the right is angle C, which is congruent to angle F. Alright, we're finding the value of x in this problem. This segment right here connects two midpoints, so it's called a mid-segment. So two of your mid-segments are equal to the third side, which is 14. If you divide both sides by 2, your 2x minus 9 is going to be equal to 7. You can add 9 to each side. Your 2x equals 16, and you can divide by 2. X is equal to 8. Number 5, points B, D, and F are midpoints of the sides ACE. E to C equals 33. So this side down here is 33. D to F is 20. Find A to C. You're looking for this side right here. Side AC in this case is parallel to side FD, because F and D are midpoints, which makes FD a mid-segment. AC is going to be equal to 2 times FD. So AC is going to be equal to 2 times 20. So your AC is going to be equal to 40. In number 6, find the value of x. The diagram is not to scale. If this piece is 30 and this is 30, that makes this point a midpoint. If this is 20 and this is 20, it makes this point a midpoint, which makes 27 a mid-segment. Mid-segment is half of the third side, or 2 of the mid-segments equal the third side. So 54 is equal to x. Number 7 asked you to find the length of the mid-segment. Length of the mid-segment right there. So, as we've said multiple times, 2 of the mid-segments are equal to the third side. So in this case, your simplest first step is to divide by 2, which makes your 4x plus 3 equal to 2x divided by 2 is x, and 18 divided by 2 is 9. Now you can subtract x from each side. So your 3x plus 3 is equal to 9. Subtract 3 from each side. Your 3x is equal to 6, and divide both sides by 3. So your x is equal to 2. If your x is equal to 2 and you need the length of the midsegment, you have to substitute. So you take 4 times 2 plus 3, which is 8 plus 3. So the length of your midsegment is 11 units. Alright, number 8, B is the midpoint of AC. D is the midpoint of CE. That makes B to D a midsegment. AE is equal to 11. Find B to D. You're looking for the distance from B to D. Well, we said earlier that 2 of a midsegment, or 2 times the midsegment, equals the third side. So if you divide both sides by 2, these 2's will cancel, and BD is equal to 5.5. Number 9, B is the midpoint of AC. D is the midpoint of CE. Solve for x given that BD is 3x plus 3 and AE is 5x plus 13. Again, 2 of the midsegments are equal to the third side. Now in this case, since both of the terms on the right side of the equal sign are odd, I wouldn't divide both sides by 2. I would distribute. So 2 times 3x is 6x, and 2 times 3 is 6, and that's still equal to 5x plus 13. If you subtract 5x from each side, then x plus 6 equals 13, and you could subtract 6 from each side. So your x is equal to 7. Remember that the question asked you to solve for x, so you're done. X equals 7. Alright, and number 10. Given that AC bisects DAB, alright, AC, it's this horizontal line, it bisects angle DAB. That means that this angle is congruent to this angle. CA, the same horizontal line bisects DCB. So here's DCB. So these two angles are congruent to each other. Prove that DAC, the triangle on the bottom, is congruent to BAC, which is the triangle on the top. Alright, they walk you through this proof step by step, and all they're asking you for is to fill in this last step. They're basically asking you to prove, or in this case, they're asking you why is triangle DAC congruent to triangle BAC. Based on the given information, the two triangles share this middle side AC, and that's mentioned right here. The rest of the information in this proof is given information. So look what you got. The triangle on the top has an angle, a side, and an angle congruent to an angle, a side, and an angle of the triangle on the bottom. So your statement that triangle DAC is congruent to triangle BAC, the reason is angle, side, angle congruence. And that concludes your Quiz 10 study guide.